I call the Honourable Damien O'Connor.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I too would like to stand up and congratulate Eric Roy, the local member down there, Mr Speaker, and to tell him he is very, very lucky that he's got the bill through now. Because I'm guessing that under local government reforms proposed by National, none of this will be allowed. Because I'm not quite sure whether tourism infrastructure will be allowed as a core part of local government services. So good on you, Eric. Mr Roy, I think it's great that you've done that. Thank you, Mr Speaker. And I guess the question would be, without the reforms, will the member who has just spoken, Jackie Dean, be bringing a local bill to the House? Because I know in her patch, the Mackenzie district, indeed one of the smallest in this country, is hosting well over 1 million visitors that pass through that area every year, and is actually paying for toilets, for the provision of water and other services for those 1 million plus. In fact, I'm not sure what the final figure is, probably 1.5 million people that travel through the Mackenzie Basin. And this is, as has been acknowledged, a dilemma for many, many small councils through the country. Can I, firstly though, Mr Speaker, just firstly acknowledge the victims of the terrible tragedy in the Foveaux Strait. And Easy Rider, I understand that boat had a chequered career. It spent some time in Westport, indeed my hometown, and I think it was a tug or a boat used around the harbour. It had been altered, I'm not sure whether upgraded is the word, but it had been used, of course, around the coast of New Zealand for a number of activities, and it is a very, very sad and tragic situation that we have down in Southland, and we hope that the families and the community can get through their pain and their suffering, and our hearts go out to them. Can I, though, come back to this, and I won't take too long, Mr Speaker, just to say that it is a good bill because it does, in fact, levy people who will be using the services of the island of Stewart Island, of the National Park, of the wonderful facilities down there at Rakiura. But the same situation applies, as my colleague Annette King said, to New Zealand across the board. And we have a number of councils, not just the Chathams, not just Westland, not just Mackenzie or Kaikoura, but a number of councils who are burdened. And in fact, the previous Minister of Local Government said, unreasonably spending money in providing promotion and services to tourists, people who are probably quite happy to pay for the right services and the support for environmental safeguards. And in government, I have always been an advocate of an environmental levy. It's not a tax as such, and it shouldn't be when people leave the country. It should be when they come in. They should know that they're paying this as part of their airfare, and it goes to environmental infrastructure, to toilets, to signage, to good, smart investment in infrastructure, such as will happen on Stewart Island and under the committee, I am sure. But that wisdom and that management should be allowed to prevail right through New Zealand, and there should be a fund generated by people coming into this country so that we can help and assist the councils to provide infrastructure that will support our 100% pure New Zealand brand. It is an aspirational brand. We're not perfect, but for most people in the world, we match up to it pretty well. But locals and people who travel around the country more often than perhaps the casual visitor, they might start to notice things that we're not doing quite right. We would like councils to spend a bit more money, but depending on the outcome of the proposed local government reforms, I guess they might or might not be allowed to do that. We hope they will, because it is a core part of supporting the community, supporting infrastructure and generating income through tourism, but and domestic visitors who come in and out of their districts. So we support the bill. I support the bill. I think it's a good move. And the alternative, unless we have this universal levy across the country on people coming in and out of it, the alternatives will be bed taxes. there'll be airport taxes, voluntary levies, there'll be targeted rates, and any other sort of imaginative idea that councillors and people up and down this country have to pay for the essential things that this levy will pay for on Stewart Island, but we need to pay for around the rest of the country. Congratulations, Eric Roy, you've got it through just in time, and I hope that people down there appreciate that. Kia ora.
I call the honourable member